When you go along the road towards Dorchester, there's a roundabout with a pub on it, and you turn left to go to Wirral. You just pass there, there's a couple of lay-bys, and he goes in. Strange place. Strange. See that? Back is up. The little bit is one.
Well, you've got to get out of the road first. Yeah, to get out of a major road.
This is one.
They're digging.
Goes everywhere. And then the back of his van, he sleeps in the back of the van. He's got a coffin. That's the
Get your story right. And do you know where they are?
Make it up, couldn't you? It's always going on. It's always going on. Who's going first? These years.
You've all gone quiet.
Not told off Sunday.
Everybody's gone quiet. Good evening. So nice to see so many of you here tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming along tonight. These discussion nights are really, really important nowadays. We've gone through obviously 2020. We've had that isolation. But after that isolation, we all wanted to start joining together again in the community. Also, we're questioning things a lot as well, because our whole world was turned upside down. So in this realm of spirituality and spiritualism, because we had this great outpouring online of different things, live, virtual mediumship, discussion groups, etc., it's really, really sort of like come more and more into our consciousness. Something I am aware of, though, is that we do have a bit of a tendency to pick up on words, on jingoism and phrases, and not really understand it, because it's a nice word. Oh yeah, so-and-so, I'm into so-and-so. What does that mean? So it's a really good opportunity on these nights. We do the awareness night at the beginning of the month, where we talk solely about spiritualism. These nights at the end of the month, Spiritual Cafe, we open up the field to more into the spirituality side of things. when I say about, you know, the jingoism and the words, who uses the phrase, oh, my energy's down a bit today, or my energy's up, or their energy wasn't very good? Hands up. Yeah. This is not a trick question or anything, do you understand your own energy? Slightly different reaction. Yeah, couple people, good, good. As I say, that's not a trick question. You know, we do just use these phrases, especially with mediums. I often hear mediums say, oh, my service last night was absolutely awful because the energy in there was right on the floor. And I think, well, number one, you should be responsible for your own energy. Number two, is that just an excuse because it didn't work for whatever reason? I can displace the responsibility for that on something or somebody else. So we're going to talk tonight about your own energies and getting that understanding. Please remember, this is very interactive. If at any stage you've got any questions or anything you want to bring up, not Hairball, where is she? Where is the cat? Please do, because it is about, I don't want to be standing here boring your pants off of you, just talking at you all night. All right, it is very interactive, so we were happy with that. Brilliant, brilliant. We are streaming out online live as well, so anybody watching, if you have any questions, please put them forward online. Just a reminder, people can only see the platform and they can only hear my side of things, all right? So if you're here and you shouldn't be here, don't worry. It won't be given away live. So, when we say about our own energy, what do we understand about energy, generally? You know, we've got the lights on today, we've got the heating on today, we've driven here or come on a bus or whatever. We're always in energy. We've always got energy going on around us. We do know scientifically energy cannot be destroyed. All right? It cannot be destroyed. It will dissipate into something else. It will transmute into something else and then something else again, but it never just goes. I know we find that a bit difficult to believe, especially if we have a power cut. Energy doesn't go. And we then bring in this side of it and the spirituality side, that we are composed of energy. We have this physical body that we are using at this time to learn, to explore, and to be in this existence at this time. That is all composed of energy. When you take everything down to right down to a molecular level, it's all energy. It's all atoms, protons, neutrons. It's always in movement, number one. Good thing to remember with energy, it is always in movement. And number two, that energy our physical body is composed of is also the energy, you know, we are stardust. Everything, this whole planet is made by a conglomeration of elements, minerals and things over time that's drawn in. It's stardust, and they say that when we die we return to being stardust because the physical body will break down to such a microscopic level, but it will be returned out into the universe. That's a lovely thought, isn't it, actually? You know, we come here on stardust and we leave here on stardust. That's a really nice thing to think. So that energy, we are responsible for our energy, is number one. We are always responsible. So I go back to saying, you know, when I hear people say, oh, the energy in there was terrible, that's why I didn't perform. That's because you allowed it to affect you. All right? You're not the victim of these things. We can pick up on different things. Who here has had a conversation with somebody, anybody, in the past, and although the conversation's quite buoyant and upbeat, you've just got this nagging feeling something's wrong in the back of your mind. Put your hands up. Yeah. Yeah. You're sensing that energy. You're sensing that hidden communication. You're sensing, you know, we're all really good at putting the front on. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. You know, my legs just dropped off, the house is on fire, the cat's got kittens I can't afford, you know. And I'm like, oh no, that's absolutely brilliant. We can all put that front on. But because we are energy, we resonate with other people. You have a resonance going on all the time because energy is continually moving. Similarly, who has been introduced or met somebody and without anything actually being said or done, you know, they haven't stood there with an axe going, hey, hello. You know, there's just something there and you go, no, 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 no. Yeah? Yeah, yeah, lots of us. I often say, we're all like notes on a piano. Because we have this, and I'm drifting off the subject slightly here, we have this old orthodox view of good and evil, bad and good. I think more it's because of when we look at the energetic interaction, we just don't go together. It's like two notes on a piano. Some notes go really well, they make a chord, and it's beautiful. Other notes is like, oh God, no, don't do that ever again. Neither of those notes is wrong, but in that union, it doesn't work. All right? Now, I'm not saying that excuses everybody for every wrong deed they've ever done, no matter how severe, because we are responsible for our energies. So we're coming back to that thing about responsibility. We are responsible for our energies. We will be affected by our physical body. I've never known so much sickness about at the moment. I really have never known. Everybody I speak to is ill. It's just like, what is going on? But when we look at our world today and all the terrible, terrible things that are going on, as a planetary cycle, we are in that energy, and the resonance on us is wearing us down because it's insidious. We all know areas in the world where war is, and we all know, actually, it's as simple as that. If people turn around and said, no, we're not going to fight. Simple no. I mean, you just stop it, just like that. But with all the overlaying of everything, obviously the financial side and politicians and everything else, it self-perpetuates. But our world ended in 2020. That was it, the 13th of March, the first lockdown. Who can remember the first day of lockdown? 23rd. You think it was? Well, you need to check it up now. Don't just sit there for... No, you've got Google. Check it up. Thank you. Everybody remembers that because that was the last day of our world, in a way. Since then, everything has changed. We are very much creatures of habit. We love our routines. You're saying no, Ted?
You said our world changed.
Yeah.
My world changed twice.
Yeah, yeah. Get that? Good example. Good example.
I mean, you had 2 years of COVID, we had 6 years of war.
Yeah. But then there's other changes in your life as well. But that time it hit everybody, and the ripples are still going on. And let's be honest, and we're not going down a political rally route yet, but I will be there one day. What is going on in our world today is wrong, all right? But that energy is affecting us all. That energy is bringing us down. That energy is weakening our immune system. That energy is making us more susceptible to whatever the bugs are going around. And it's because of energetic practices, because we are allowing ourselves to be adversely affected by the energies of the world, and we are letting that energy into our world. Because if you take it, every day we live in our world. You know, our world is here in Poole or surrounding areas with family, pets, jobs. That's our world. Yeah, really is. We know there's sun-drenched beaches somewhere. We know there's the Arctic ice caps. We know there's magnificent fjords and mountains. But our world actually consists of getting up every day, where we are, where we exist. This is where we can start with the element of controlling. Controlling our energies, understanding our energies, accepting what benefits us, and dismissing what doesn't. The old adage, can I change it, yes or no? So how do you apply that? Can I change the world situation? Not directly, not the way we would like, but yes, we can. Because if everybody changes their world, the world as a greater whole will follow. It will follow that energetic link. Happy with that so far? I know it's a bit, but you get the grips of that. Any comments? No? Oh, this is good. So, how do we change our world? Well, first thing is understanding our energy, is knowing. I mean, we look at a biblical term here, know thyself. Knowing your own energy. How many people sit in meditation? Put your hands up. Brilliant. Brilliant. Anybody who hadn't put their hands up, doesn't matter. All right, it's an avenue you are welcome to explore. If you choose to, great. If you don't choose to, great. It's as simple as that. All right. Meditation helps us to come back into ourselves, to feel. When you sit in meditation, do you feel your body relax? Yeah. Do you feel that your mind starts to, it may wander gently, or it may just go quiet? Yeah, yeah. So you're getting back in touch with your true self, your state of being. It's also in meditations like that, we can sometimes pick up on things about ourselves. We can sometimes think, do you know what, there is something going on with my lower back, or God, my shoulder is really playing me up, or whatever, because we're actually bringing back our attention to ourselves. But we can go one step further with those techniques. There's always layers upon layers upon layers. And when you go into a meditation, just think, I want to be in touch with me. I just want to know how I feel at this time. Not the mental clutter, not allowing the thoughts of whatever coming in. How do I feel? Am I happy? It's a really good question to ask yourself in a meditation. Am I happy? And do you know what? It's the man in the mirror, or the woman in the mirror. It's the one person you can't lie to. Am I happy? I'm delirious. No, you're not. Seriously, you're not. You're not happy because of this, because of that. So we start on these little leads here to defining our own energy. Finding out what we need to change, or we're invited to change, and finding out what we're happy with. Because we never allow ourselves that self-acknowledgement of going, actually I'm doing really well. Actually, I'm in a really good place. Actually, I'm really happy with things. Because we're always looking for that something else to do, aren't we? We're always looking for, oh, I could have done that better. Yeah, you've done 99 things, which are absolutely amazing. You haven't mentioned one of them, but you have mentioned what you think is a failing, or you think is an area that you didn't rise to, or whatever, but we ignore those other things. So as I say, it's a meditation technique that you can use. Just sit in meditation and literally, some people will call it talking to your soul. There's lots of terminology. I always call it the man in the mirror. For me, it just suits me. Anything simple is me. Anything complicated and I start, A, I can't remember it, B, I don't like it, C, I won't do it. And that's true of a lot of practices. If you don't like it, you're not going to engage with it. But if you just sit and go, how am I doing? How am I doing? And just put that question to yourself. How do I feel? Am I happy? Have I had a successful day? Have I got areas maybe I want to work on? And things like that. So you're starting to balance your energies then. You're becoming more and more aware of your own energies, because where thought flows, energy follows. So when those thoughts come into your mind, your energies are reacting to that. You know, if you went to bed, and before you went to bed and you meditated and you went over everything that you've done really well today and every really positive interaction you've had. The meal came out really well today. The kids are doing amazing at school. Husband loves me. You know, all these things. You will have a really good night's sleep. And you will wake up refreshed and recharged because you brought that positivity. We know with energy, like magnetism, we have the positive and the negative. Look at any battery. We've always got those terminals. If we look at that in a greater field, one of the biggest natural laws is the law of balance. Everything has a balance. So we've got positive end of the battery, negative end of the battery. They work together to create the current because they are in balance. The same with ourselves. If we only think, oh God, I buggered that up, didn't I? I haven't done that right. Oh my God, what do they think of me? I haven't done that today, I should have done that, you know. If I'm dwelling in that negative energy, I'm going to go to bed and wake up in the morning and just think, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I wasting? It's self-perpetuating. And it can become very damaging. How many people know somebody that you daren't say, how are you? I always say negativity is a very lazy energy. It doesn't require effort. We can all be negative. We can walk in here and go, oh, I don't know, hoovered over there, and windows look like they could do it, you know. It's a really lazy energy. And we can apply that to ourselves as well. Oh, I didn't go to the gym. Oh, I ate chocolate again. This is true, actually. I didn't do that, and I didn't do this. And we can very quickly become entrenched in that negative side of things because it doesn't require any effort. And it doesn't require us to really engage with things. You know, we meet people and you're buoyant and happy and you try talking to them and they're quiet, withdrawn, and you can walk away thinking, oh, they're miserable sod. You know, oh, well, forget them. The positive requires effort. The positive requires us to be active. So when you have something like that and you think, wonder what's going on there, I'll give them a call because that's not like them. We are then transmuting what we can just leave as a negative energy into the potential for positivity. You can go back to that person and say, is everything all right? I'm a bit concerned. You're not your usual buoyant self. And if everything is aligned, out will come the story, which will help them because they're stuck in that negative rut, to be able to share it. How many people have shared something verbally with somebody, and as you are doing it, you're processing it differently in your mind, and you're just thinking, what is wrong with you? That is ridiculous. Yeah? Because we've held on to that negative side. And it's gone on that loop up here in our mental activity. And when we actually verbalise it, we then realise unconsciously the energy of it and the sense of it, and we release it then. So we're starting to get back into this state of balance again with our energies. So just for literally just a couple of minutes, I just want you to just sit quietly, eyes closed, don't worry, I won't go through your handbags or wallets. And just start off a couple of breaths. Just become aware of your breath. Just feel that rise and fall. And allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself just to be. No worries. Just be here, present in this moment. And just ask yourself, am I happy? Just see what unfolds. Just see what comes in. Try not to engage with it at this time. Try not to engage mentally. Just accept what is there. And now, just come back out of that. Bring yourself back out. Can be very, very difficult because once the brain, am I happy? No, because the car's broken down. Boom, you're back in your head. Yeah. The initial reaction was no. How many people thought, actually, no, that's rude, that's personal, so we won't ask that. But if you each think about your own reaction to that question, there's something there that you can work on. There's something there you can take forward. There's something there that you can start bringing an action plan in. Because now you've had that initial answer from yourself, you've just taken a step. So now you've taken that step, you've got the opportunity to take further steps. And please don't go home and divorce the old man straight away, all right? But you've just started on that path, so we're starting again to start moving our energies about and finding out about our energies. And we're all happy with this so far. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Now, how can our energies, right, you've just got up in the morning, had a good night's sleep, you're feeling pretty buoyant, quite straight, you know, that's it, hello world, I'm here, bring it on, sort of thing. What can negatively impact that? Anyone?
People.
Yeah. Seriously. What else?
What the news is.
Problems? Oh, okay. You're so clever. Anything else?
What the news is.
Put the news on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, put the news.
Weather. The weather.
Weather? Money?
Kind of work.
No, that's your boss's problem, not yours.
It's not.
It's raining outside.
Yeah, we've got weather. Yeah.
Letters through the post. Yeah. Bad news.
Yeah.
Health.
Very good. One ball.
Life.
I was just going to say
Life.
life or thinking about where you're at in life.
Yeah, yeah. We call that self-awareness.
Yes.
You know, where we are in life is our awareness. I'm going to have to write in Dutch in Bunstone. That's going to be fun. Anyway, I'll split it into two because we can then start seeing what externally is affecting us and our energy. These are external factors. All right? We don't have control over what people say to us unless we just live in a cave in Wales and never go out and meet anybody. That's imported into us. The news, again, is an external thing that is coming into our energy. The weather is an external thing. Probably the weather actually go there because some people love snow, some people love the rain, some people love a thunderstorm. Yeah? So actually I will shift that over there. Talk amongst yourselves. It's raining men.
Hallelujah.
Yeah! Start the choir.
Where would you put family there? Because they're people, but they are not external. Do you put family in the positive?
Well, they are external. Even if it's a person you're lying in bed with, it's still an external thing coming into your life. Yeah? Because we're importing that into our energy. But these are the things, and in fact, you can start encompassing the other two things as well, that we do have control over. All right? And in fact, when you start talking about the control side of it, we can also start including that because we can choose to let people upset us or not. I'm getting really good at that now. I used to be a bugger. Somebody says, and it would sit there like a little rat, gnawing away at me. Thankfully, I've learned now to go, well, that's your opinion, that's wonderful. Shame I didn't ask for it, but that's fine, off you go. Yeah, because I'm not going to let that come into me. The news. Okay? If you start looking on a wider spiritual aspect, we know everything has a lesson. And everything that's going on in this world has a lesson to it for everybody involved and engaged with it. So we can sort of like dissipate the negative side by starting to scratch away and looking a little bit deeper at things and not just going on the knee-jerk reaction. Because when we go on the knee-jerk reaction, we make it a negative thing, and that negative thing then sits there with us until we actively disperse it. Even if consciously we forget it, that energy still remains with you. All right? Many people go, I don't feel right. I'm not ill, but I just don't feel right at the moment. Because there's negative energies in our own energy that we've not resolved or we've not dispersed. We've already touched on this by when we say something to somebody, we actually go, what the hell was I thinking? Why was that upsetting me? What a load of tosh. Yeah. We tend to, and I've seen this time and time again, you talk to somebody about, member of all right, I'll use an example we had here a few years ago. How's your brother? Don't talk to me about him. Do you know what? 20 years ago, he told me that, and I'm like, wow. Don't you think it's time you worked on that? Because instantly, just by saying, how's your brother, the whole energy of that dispute 20 years ago is back live and kicking. And that's been carried. It was brought to the fore by asking the question, but where did it come from? That's a question. Where did that come from? Yeah. It's energy that you are carrying and you're not dissipating it. You know, I can't remember what I had for breakfast or whatever anybody said to me 20 years ago. It was absolutely fine. It's really hard. It is really hard to work on forgiveness for things. It is really hard. But if we can't forgive, we can accept. We can change our energy again by saying, well, do you know what? 20 years ago he said all that. It really hurt me at the time, but I'm not going to let it bring me down now. It's happened. I can't change it. I can change how I react to it. And now it's just sort of, well, my thoughts are out. They know the door's always open. If they choose to come in, I can't do anything more. And I've now cleared that energy. And again, with all of these, we get stuck in our face. Money, really good one. We all worry about money because it's just ridiculous. My yoghurt has gone up from 99p to £1.45, and I am outraged, and I don't eat so much yoghurt now, which is really annoying. But I'm not going every 5 minutes, oh, I want a yoghurt, and I can't have a yoghurt because of the money, you know. I can't have it. I can't have 6 pots of yoghurt a week, so I have 1 pot of yoghurt a week as a treat. You feel sad for me? You're going to rush out and buy me yoghurt. You know what to get me for your birthday now? But it's not allowing that to be, you know, weigh me down. It is what it is, all right? I can do shoplifting. I do very good, actually. Whatever. Bad news. Yeah, we have the shock, especially when we're dealing with serious illness, passings, severe accidents. We understand as spiritual and energetic beings that we can counteract other people's misfortunes with our own energy by sending it out in healing. So when you get that bad, you know, oh my God, thoughts out to send the thoughts. And again, you're transmuting. This is the alchemist in everybody. You know, the old alchemist was turning lead into gold. I think the philosophical side of that was turning the negative into positive. We have this negative. We have, go back to bad news. We have the ability, we're not going to be dismissive of it, obviously, but we have that ability to, we have two choices. We can sit there rocking and holding our heads, which sometimes we need to do, especially if it's very close and very personal to us. But in time, we can then start to transmute that energy into just sending love out. And we know that works. It may not work in the way we want, all right? But it does have an effect. So that's us having to trust, to understand. Everything happens. There's always a reason. There's always a lesson. There's always, and growth comes in. Imagine if nobody ever died, there would be no space on this planet. And we know through our own physical conditions, the older we get, the more bits drop off and stop working. So if there was no death, imagine. I'm not decrying, I am not trying to devalue the emotion of grief. Grief is a process that we have to experience, and we learn how to manage it, and we learn how to make our peace with it, and we learn to understand it. Very often you will get people say, well, how can there be a God with all this stuff going on in the world? Well, actually, God's not doing it. It's man doing it. Simple as that. Because we've got that free will. I always say electricity. There we go. Got the lights on today. It's firing up the boiler, so we're nice and warm. Gave us hot water. Lovely. It can also be used when you press the button to fire the missile at somebody else. It's how it's used, it's how it's applied. So we can start working and start looking. Obviously, we do have the initial impact of things come in. Which is a very sad story on Facebook just now. A gent's got to sell up everything because there's an old bill that suddenly resurfaced and the bailiffs have been round, so he's got to sell everything that supports his business to pay this bill. Obviously, at the moment, that is there with him. Yeah. In time, there's the opportunity, because we have opportunities. Whether we do it or not is down to us. Seriously, but there is the opportunity in time to sort out the immediate needs and then maybe look at the future and plan things differently and look at, because not lost all that experience has been gained, not lost all that knowledge. So already we're looking at a positive side. Yeah, all right, at the moment it's pants. You've got to stop trading, you've got to sell all your gear. That is awful. But every bit of information, every bit of experience, every bit of knowledge that you've garnered over the last 2.5 years is still with you. So come a time when finances aren't so much of the issue, you're coming in already 3 steps up the ladder, whereas you started at the bottom of the ladder. So it's, we talk about being reborn in a way. So again, it's understanding our energy, and it's understanding what assists us, what helps us, who's had spiritual healing, received it.
I've not received it.
You've received it?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel?
Calm.
Calm?
Absolutely within yourself.
Lovely, yeah. Because we're working on an energy there. We're having another energy come into us, but that energy is channeled for the highest and the best. It's a really positive energy coming in. Healers will work on many levels. We have the physical body, but then we have the mental body, we have the etheric body, we have the emotional body, we have the spiritual body. And when you're receiving healing, be it through spiritual healers, through Reiki, through some of the energy healers, because this is another thing, a rebound of the word energy. We're hearing the terminology, I'm an energy healer. Well, what's that? Because at the end of the day, we're all energy healers. However we picture, however we are comfortable envisioning, there we go, where that energy comes from, it's still energy. I do like, to a degree, when we do start talking about energy, because we're starting to remove the physicality of things, because I think we limit ourselves a lot with physical things on a spiritual plane. Somebody said that a certain type of mediumship isn't happening at the moment because the spirit world's energy is being used up by all the people who are coming over because of COVID. And I'm like, okay, well, you've just then defined to yourself that the spirit world is sort of like running on a Tesla battery and it's only got a certain amount of charge and it can only cope with that. Whereas if we start looking further afield into everything is energy, and then I was reading this up today, quantum entanglement, where everything is connected. Everything is connected, not just physical things. Everything is connected. Every thought we put out doesn't disappear. It sits there, it's accessible. There's an old saying, nothing is ever lost, only the ability to find it. And I love that saying. I do love that saying because it is true. You know, if you had a letter and you burned it and it went down to ashes, there are ways that the ashes can be put back to get the gist of that letter. It's never lost. That's on the physical side. Energetically, everything we put out resides. This is where we start struggling a bit, because we're physical beings. So we start, I was saying the other week about who's got SSD memory in their computer? Solid state drive? The old drive system used to be like a floppy disk thing, and it would read bits of information, but that's very two-dimensional. SSDs are more like a bubble memory, so they can go in any way and retrieve the information, so you can get more information in a smaller space. We need to go beyond that even, but we struggle because we want physical things that we can relate to. We need that. We reduce everything to the physical. If we think about the spirit world, if we think about the spirit world, there are accounts and we have visions that the spirit world is very similar to this world. So straight away we've put a physicality on it. There may not be, it may always be glorious weather, it may be we don't need to eat or drink, but we'll have a lovely house to live in and things like that. And I'm pretty sure when we go over, if that is our vision, that is what we will experience. But there will come a time when you will inherently start to understand, actually I don't need a meal on the table. I don't need a glass of water. I don't need a house. And these things will pass. And we step into another state of being. that can be very uncomfortable for a lot of people. Who is comfortable with, if I said to you, when you die, you will be part of a group memory? You're comfortable with that?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. And you?
I shan't be forgotten.
Yeah. But you won't have your individuality.
No.
That's what frightens people, losing their individuality.
Yeah. But then nothing is ever lost. When we work with our mediumship, there's something that's coming in at the moment, and I'm intrigued by it because I've had experiences now where I have a total lack of emotion. And that threw me because I had this unconscious perception that the spirit world is very much an emotional state. But I'm beginning to think slightly differently now because emotions can help us, but they can also hold us back. Fear. Go bungee jumping. Bugger off. I'm not even going up a ladder, let alone jump off the top. No way. Go skydiving. No, planes are to sit in first class and have peanuts and champagne. You don't jump out of the door. Simple as that. Because the fear energy holds us back. So I am beginning to wonder on some level with the spirit world, outwardly it would feel emotionless until we work to go into that energy and then connect with the memories and the personalities individually within there, and then that is where the emotional side comes in. I'm probably not explaining it very well, but it's just something I'm just sort of like, okay, I'm interested. I shall keep looking into this. Yes?
It's a bit like, I see it, to try and put it simple in my mind, is like recording onto, you could say the old-fashioned tapes or the CDs or this type of thing, where we record all the life experiences within our soul. And so when we pass the spirit in the energy of where we go, there's still the resonance of the experiences. So it's as if that can be, once it's touched upon, is replayed. And of course, because of the human experience usually involves emotion to some degree or not, that's why it's filters back through with the memories.
Hmm.
It's because where we are also as human beings at this level of consciousness as well, because that's our understanding right now, and it has to reach us in a way that we can understand.
Good point. Yeah, that is a good point. Because when we work as mediums, we are evidential mediums. And if I were to say to you, oh, you've got an energy stood behind you, and there's a lot of green in there, so, and I'd be trying to translate that into a human term, why I'm seeing green in that energy. And there's purple around the outside, and it's pulsating, it's vibrating at 120 hertz. You know, and if that was the message we delivered from the platform, people would be sat there going, what the bloody hell? What are you talking about? Yeah. Because we've gone in at a different level. We're seeing that raw energy. But then when we link in with that energy and start, because everything, nothing is ever lost, nothing is ever forgotten. So it's all there within that energy. It's the medium's job, or the reader's job, to translate that. Very clever.
Feel also, that while we're here in the human condition as well, emotion is giving us information, and often it's giving us information about where we may need to be healed to. Because quite often, you know, something might press our buttons or this type of thing. It's usually revealing that there's something in there that's triggered it off.
And it brings it into that. It's what we control. there's 200 songs on here. Looking at it, I can't tell what's on there. All right, if I had these on CDs, I would have a big collection. I've got 200 songs on here, but when I plug it in to the player and select that track, that song then becomes manifest. So what's to say, I've got the entire energy of everything here, but because of our physicality, it's like, and it's not until we plug it in and then start linking in. And that's the medium's job. The medium's job is to be aware of all of this and go in, 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 go in, go in. To get that story.
Sorry, so
That's
what
all right.
you were saying earlier about like you're looking into your mediumship, as in like when we go, is that similar to like that? Is that what you're saying?
In time.
In time, yeah.
Rule number one, spirit world, universal energy, whatever you want to terminology you want to use for that, is one of love.
Yeah.
All right? So if we passed, we took the blink, we shut our eye and opened our eyes again on the other side. We opened our eyes just purely on an existence of just energy, a bit like Tron, but not so linear. Just energy everywhere. What's our first reaction going to be? What the hell? We would recoil, because we don't change our... We're spending all this time accruing this understanding of things, and that doesn't disappear. Energy cannot be destroyed the minute we take the blink. So, because I asked once, I said to my guy, why do I never see where they are? And the answer was, because that's their heaven, not yours. And I went, I really get that. I really get that. Because if somebody gave me a description of heaven, and one bit of it didn't sit well with me, imagine the implication of that. So whatever your heaven is, that is where you're going to be. I want to be back at the Queen concert at Nebworth again. That'd be great. Who knows? I might take the blink and go, oh my God! I'm back there and I'm 22 again. Yay! But after a while, I'm going to grow tired of those songs. And I'm going to grow tired of the hopping up and down. And I'm going to start looking outside of the grounds for something else. This is it's very clever. You see what I mean? So if your vision of where you go to is a wonderful country cottage, yeah, everyone's dream, isn't it? Everyone's ideal. I'm in a country cottage. Great. I've got food, in the larder. I've got water. I've got everything I need. After a while, a bit boring. I might take a wander out in the garden now. Oh no, it's a garden I've always imagined. Oh, it's beautiful. And after a while, a bit boring. Because we're always questing, we're always the eternal traveller, we're always the eternal yearner. So we come from our cottage into our garden, now we're out in the country lane, and now we're looking over the fields, and our horizon is getting bigger. And at some stage, I'm sure, somebody will come up and start talking to you and saying things which you may think, really? If you look back now, your cottage is gone because you no longer need it. Yeah, that's fine. I don't, actually. So that transition, I believe, is exactly what we think it's going to be. but it's temporary. It's to allow us to adjust. Because we've lived this life where we need heating, we need lighting, we need a roof over our head, we need a bed to sleep on. We need food in our fridges, we need money in our bank. We're the victims of everything we need. Everything we need is controlling us. The spirit side of life, the only need is to be. But to take all of that away in one instant would lead with a lot of people to confusion, to fear, to a state of apathy or a state of just frozen because we can't understand it. So the process is gentle, 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 one step at a time. But I'm still going to be at the Queen concert. It's going to be the first place, I've decided. You're listening? And you don't know why I do that, because I'm not telling them, I'm telling myself. So coming back into this energy side, we are captain and commander of our ship, all right? There is nothing out there that with time and with thinking and without engaging with it that we cannot master. We hear about some of the old prophets and sages who would literally just go and sit on a mountain for 20 months, eat grass and come back with profound things because they've cleared out all the governing physical side of life. They've not sat up there and just thought that shopkeeper was so bloody rude to me for 20 years. They've sat there and just cleared the mind, brought the balance in between the positive and the negative. Everything's in balance, everything's in harmony, everything's in unity, and I'm going to open up, I'm going to unfold and unfold and unfold until I get to a point of going, okay, this is good, I want to share this, I want to bring this back. It won't appeal to everybody. There are as many schools of thought in the spirit world as there are stars in the sky. Because again, a human side of us, we want the answer, don't we? What is the answer? And it's the answer. Well, if I gave you my answer, like in my vision of the spirit world, there would be parts of that you would disagree with. Therefore, it's not the answer. Because the truth of the matter is, you find your answer. And your answer is made up of the journey that you embark upon. But you never get to that finite point. You might have a minor epiphany moment, minor revelation of, oh my God, that's so simple. Why didn't I think of that? That will lead on to other questions. And the developing mediums, healers, philosophers will all understand that really well. But that's also in life as well, everyday life. We always want the answer, but it's the journey that we're on. But when we start to engage with our journey, we maybe want to start giving a thought to our energy. Because our energy is the one constant throughout that journey. People come and go into our lives, places we live change, jobs we do change, pets we have change. Everything is in flux around us. The one true constant is you and your energy. And when you start to work with your energy and start to on the path of transmuting, you did a wonderful transmutation of energy at Christmas. Young lady. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not going to open it up, but that was brilliant. You changed something which challenged you into something you now accept. How wonderful. You changed that energy. Because that is where we have we have that personal responsibility. Don't worry, I'm not going all SNU on you, but we have personal responsibility because we are responsible for ourselves. And once we start to really get in touch with ourselves and our energy, you know, when we have disagreements and somebody says, oh, well, you did this or you said that or whatever, how they've taken it is down to them. I've said this a number of times now. I'm sorry you've taken offence at something that wasn't meant offensively. You've changed the energy of that. That's not my responsibility. I said that in all openness. You've turned it into an attack. That is your responsibility. I know I didn't say that to provoke, condemn, upset, or negatively impact on you. You've turned it into something, you've weaponized my words. Carry on. Carry on. Because we're always dealing with an energy exchange of things as well. What we do with somebody is our side of the contract. What they do with it and react to it is their side of the contract. We may have times where we say something and somebody says, well, so and so, and you think, oh my goodness, sorry, I didn't mean it in that context whatsoever. So it's understanding, you know, because you know me, I just talk and then apologise later. You may have said something when you actually thought about it and thought, actually, yeah, I could have done that better. But again, we're coming back to working with our energies because everything is a lesson. Everything has an opportunity to teach us things, not to lose ourselves, which is what we're seeing nowadays, where we're frightened to talk because somebody will find offence in what we're saying. But we know in our heart of hearts that we are saying something in openness, in true love, and in our language. Again, if somebody weaponises that, that is actually your responsibility now. You know, if you had any inkling, any perception of the energy at this time, you would realise that is not a provocative thing. I can provoke things. Now run away giggling. I call it literary terrorism. I engage in that quite often on Facebook. I put a comment on somebody's post and go, have fun. That's naughty me. But with our energies, we are responsible in defining it. And our energy is our energy, all right? Some days it's going to be harder to get in contact with because external things are layering themselves around our thinking. But it's always there. It's always a constant. And that energy is also the energy that when you take that final blink, continues. Because energy can't be destroyed. Happy with that? Good. Any questions on tonight or general? Please ask. Deadly silence. I'll take that as a good sign. But it is fascinating. And as I say, there's so much sort of what I call new speak coming in. We're hearing different phrases and different terminology of things, and we can pick these things up and go running with it, but without really giving it a lot of thought or really understanding it. Or, oh God, it's too complicated, I can't deal with that. Well, if you can't deal with it, leave it alone until you can. But it's remaining true to yourself. Yes, darling?
Using the word energy, I feel it's also, when people start to consider that more or come to talks like this, it's like moving beyond ourselves, moving beyond our physicality, because if we think of our auric field, how that spreads beyond physical, it starts to break down even in a subtle way, and whether we're conscious of it or not, the fact that we're solid, it's starting to take us into a new energy and a new phase of being less attached to form. Because I feel when we start talking about connecting with spirit, or after we've taken the blink, as Laurie put it, and where we move into that field of energy, if we're aware beforehand that we're connected to all that is, then we're also connected to all that is and will pass. So it becomes less about individualisation. We're aware of that, but we're also aware of being part of the collective, whether it's consciousness, God, or however you perceive it. So I feel talking about energy and introducing into things is taking us beyond the form, and it's starting to open up the perception to understand moving forward beyond having to have everything in form.
Yeah.
Because it's changing.
We hit on a stumbling block there, because when we deal solely with energy, we refer to everything as energy all the time. It actually depersonalizes and de-emotionalizes things. And we are emotional beings. We need our emotional side involved with things. So it's understanding energies, but like anything, we can become slightly out of balance. Because we go, all right, everything's energy, it's all energy, never dies, all does that. We're actually sort of like cutting ourselves off from our human condition, and we're here to experience our human condition. Otherwise we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, it's about recognising the connectedness to everything that is, and the energy, how it all interweaves and that. But it's part of a transitional phase, isn't it, where at the moment we're very much into the sense of form and the emotion and how things affect us and everything. But as we're evolving and we start to think of things in a broader sense, this is where it starts to break down some of the solid lines, linear thinking.
But again,
It's an evolving thing. It's not something overnight. Oh, I'm not solid anymore. And everything's energy and it's all a mush.
yeah, but that is one of the pitfalls that I've seen some people go down. But again, it's just understanding that you are energy, but you are also this energy, this spirit, whatever, soul, whatever your terminology, is having this human experience. And we must acknowledge the human experience that we are on, because that's why we're here. I am a very, very great believer that nobody is here by accident. Every single one of us had a part in designing this experience. I don't mean down to, the nitty-gritty, like tonight. What do I have tonight? Oh, fish cakes. So, yeah, on Thursday the 24th of January, you're going to have fish cakes. Not that sort of planning. But you're going to have certain challenges in your life, because challenges are opportunities to grow. You may want to experience things on a karmic energy of, don't go there. You were a parent and you had regrets about how your child was brought up. When you went back to the spirit world, you may want to experience a karmic side of that, of being a child in that sort of relationship, so you understand all the things. Karma is very knotty. I don't want to go too... Karma and reincarnation. They're like, if you start talking about that, I'm off. I very much believe... Put your hands up if you think that's true. And don't do it just to please. That we choose our life. Yeah, brilliant. But as I say, I always think it's not a linear thing. It's not straightforward. I always think it's a bit like a tree. It's probably the most closest physical thing that every action we do, we go up a different branch, and another branch, and another branch, and sometimes we get to a branch and we have to come back and then go back up the trunk again. So we have this plan, but the outcome of it is down to us. Again, we come back to that personal responsibility. You know, you could have been a misogynist in one life, and you have the opportunity in the next time to release that energy. Again, what we talk about, holding on to energies. It's not just in the physical realm, it's also in the spiritual realm. Everything that we've done, experience, sits with us. So I want to bring the balance back into that. So where I was a misogynist in this life, I want to be a woman in this life who has to deal with it, and I understand it. I can't cancel that out. I can't remove it because it's energy, but I can bring the balance back in. That when I review and think, yeah, I was a misogynist, but actually when I had that experience, I really regret what I did. But also, again, everything is a challenge, and everything that's a challenge is an opportunity. And if I wasn't in that energy, I maybe not would have aspired to what I did learn. Very complicated. It's very complicated, and you can lose yourself in these thoughts. But bringing it back to here, now, this life, this time, everything is an energy. When we start to learn to primarily get our own energy, that little meditation, that's something you can all do anytime, anywhere, yeah? You can just sit there quietly and just ask yourself that question, am I happy? The more you do it, the more fluid it will become, the more the answer will come in, giving you the opportunity to change the energy around whatever that is that's besetting you. Okay? Super. Anybody else? What do you think, darling?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah? You find things in there and make you go,
Yeah, it resonated. Yeah.
brilliant. And that's the good thing about these talk evenings. It gives you something to go away with. It gives you something. If you agree, great. If you don't agree, great. That's really good, because that means things that make us look at what we believe in, as I say, revert back to 2020, the 23rd of March apparently, but I notice you still haven't looked that up to verify it. I'm so looking it up tonight. I can do it now. Yeah.
I haven't got my Wi-Fi on, so I can't.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah. We had that big sea change. We can't change that. God knows we'd love to, but we can't change that. So
Lawrence, it gave us so many opportunities. Look at yourself. It was positive in some ways for you, wasn't it?
but we all have that ability. We all have that
You didn't
ability.
just sit upstairs and just think, this is life shit, and I'm just going to stay here and drink.
Oh God, if I hadn't done all this, I've been sat on the roof with a bottle of vodka throwing tiles at the police. Sounds fun, apart from frightened of heights. But it shows, every time we have adversity in our life, what do? We look for something good out of it. Because again, that natural law, the balance, we look for something good out of it. But we can become entrenched in the negative side of things because it requires no effort, it's comforting in the fact that I don't have to think, I don't have to face it, I don't have to challenge what I see, hear or believe at this time. And so I'm just going to sit there in that endless loop of negativity. But don't forget, life is endless. So whether here or there, that will be challenged. I always say you may as well do it now, because if you don't do it now, you're going to have to come back and do it all over again, so you may as well get out of the way now. But yeah, we're always looking at that. I think the natural law of balance is very overlooked because everything relies on that balance. Because when the balance isn't there, that's where the disharmony comes in. When the balance isn't there, this is when we have disease within ourselves. When the balance isn't there, it's not right. And we know inherently it's not right. We may not know the actual cause, we may not know the actual issue, but we just know something isn't right. And 99 times out of 100, it comes down to balance. You know, that person that challenges us, that person that you think, I never want to speak to them again. Okay, why? What is it in them that has provoked that within you? Is this a mirroring going on? Is there something in them that you see in yourself and it repulses you when you see it epitomised in somebody else? It's all about balance. But to get the balance stage right, we need to work on our energies. And because we control our energies, we are always in control of our energies. We can have the outburst, we can have the, the red light come in, or we can have the black dog sit with us. But we are in control of that. We may need a little bit of help, a little bit of assistance at this time, especially when we start talking about black dog, which is depression. I had depression, I was on pills, and my mum went berserk and shouted at me, so that cured my depression in about 30 seconds. It didn't, but it started me on the road to my own wellness. And the pills went out the window because I was just sat there like a zombie. My mum had an outburst, which shook me up, which started me on going, okay, I need to get over this, I need to work this out, I need to dispel this energy. The same with addictions. Addictions, is not a sign of a wrong person. Addictions are out of balance. People take drugs to experiment, to have fun. Then the addicted side comes in, which is the chemical side. Or people take drugs because they can't face their life. They think their life is so worthless or so inconsequential that the only escape I can find is by taking drugs and the road that leads to. But again, if you work on the energies and then work on the balance, nothing is irredeemable because nothing is ever lost. Ooh, thank you. Glad I'm recording this. There is always hope. Pandora's box, what was the last thing left? Hope. There is always hope. We may not be the one to facilitate it, but somebody is. Somebody is. Oh, I like that. They're in the 45th lesson of the night. So, if you've got any questions at all about anything chipping away at your mind, and think, how's that work then? Ask, because these are the four. And no question is daft if you don't know the answer, because nobody got anywhere without asking questions.
I suppose it's all connected with our own life's journey, like our own, what we're supposed to learn.
We have the opportunities to learn things. We can deviate from that path. We can say, oh, I don't want to learn that. How many times have you had a situation reoccur? It may be different people in a different format, but the actual core energy is the same. I had issues with a certain type of person. So the characters kept changing, but I sat with somebody and we went right down into the energy, and it was just that basic energy I had the issue with, which was manifest in different characters of different sexes, but the core energy was the thing that I had an issue with, because it reflected something of me. And when I let go of it, suddenly these people were no longer able to enthrall me in their little web, because I just let go of that and gone, oh my God, yeah, right, got it. But I had the choice to do that. I may have sat there and gone, oh God, no, I'm not dealing with that. No, 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 leave that alone. And then these characters will keep coming into your life and challenging. Everything we have, and I teach this in the mediumship circles, don't I, Sue? It's like an onion. You keep peeling away, peeling away, peeling away. And you get down and down and down. So as a medium, you're trying to do that with the evidence, but with our own energy and our own thinking, if you start peeling things away, you actually find there's only a few energies in the world that cause us issues. But it comes manifest in bureaucracy or failed relationship, or kids can't stand you, or mother-in-law chases you around the garden with a lawnmower and things like that. But when you dig away, depersonalise it, and this is where talking about energy does come in handy, because you depersonalise it, you find that core energy and you go, oh my God, it's all about control. That's what it is. I feel like I'm not in control with these people, or this situation, or this body, this agency. I've lost my control, and that's what it is. That's what's the answer to all these little issues that are going on. So it's useful in that respect, but again with balance. If you go too far into that and just depersonalise everything, you then become detached. You then become not of this world when you are of this world, because the one thing that spiritualism teaches us is that this life is so important, because as part of that greater whole, as part of that greater union of everything, you have chosen this expression of life for all the lessons in there for us to take back to add to the greater whole. Put a hand up, or are you picking
No,
your nose? Anybody else? No? Super. Have you enjoyed that?
Yes.
Good. Good, good. And just a second. Where was it we talked? That was online, wasn't it? I'll wait until we're offline before I share that one. It is really good, and we always encourage here, you know, there is so much more to spiritualism and spirituality to explore, to discuss, to come together in times like this and just find our way. And just to say, you're going to go home and there'll be some parts you go, oh, I really can't go along with that. Great, because if you get things like that, what do you go along with? We're on this journey of self-exploration. You know, find the things that make us sing.
Yeah, I feel all this that's been talking about here, it will, if you're able to start looking at it and taking it on board more or to begin with, this will be the sort of thing that actually helps you through the world as it is today. Because we have to learn to manage our energies within the global situations as well. And to be aware of lifting ourselves or finding that space or presence where you start to bring in your own energy and you become part of the light of the world. And that's what we need to do as individuals as well as collectively.
Yeah, but as I say, bring it
Light.
back down, be the light of your world.
That for everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
Do it for yourself first and foremost.
Lovely comment there from Marion Frisbee. Thank you, darling. Victim or victor? Yeah. That's nice. Thank you, Marion. Like that. Yeah, it's really true. But again, we go down to the balance. Balance will come in with everything, because balance is the universal law. It really is. It is the one thing. You look at our world, it's because it's out of balance, because money and power and authority has gotten to a point where the scales are tipped. That resulting energy is out in the world. Just so much turmoil. So much turmoil going on. There is no peace anywhere because the balance is no longer there.
Perhaps though, the imbalance is always in each and every one of us and all our conflicts. And as we start to bring all that in balance, we then have on a collective level an effect on bringing balance to the world. I mean, that sounds possibly far-fetched when you look today.
Not at all.
It always stops with us, doesn't it? So bring that in the balance.
Yeah, not at all. As I said, it's working on your world. Your world is the thing that you are in control of. That is the most important thing to you. All right? We know there's terrible things going on in the world. Your world is the most important thing. But if everybody can start changing their world, you know, I look around now and I have a current thing about celebrities, and I just look at it and think, well, you actually mean nothing to me. I don't revere any of you. There are some comedians I like, there are some singers I like, but I don't revere them, I don't follow them, I don't, you know, try to build my whole life around them. They're just somebody with a gift that I enjoy where they share it. So, you know, there's a Kardashian. I've never even seen her. I have no idea what a Kardashian is. I wouldn't know if I tripped over one. Sounds like some sort of apparel. You know, it's a bit bigger than a cardigan. It's a Kardashian. But, yeah, change your world. All right? That is the thing to work on. Change your world. What can I change? I can change how I react to things. I can change what I put out. I can change how I am with other people. And that's what to work on. If everybody started to embark on that, because fear is the killer. Fear is the killer, and we're surrounded by fear. Even the bloody news, the weather. You know, we've got the latest storm that's going to barrel in and kill us all, you know. Why are we having so many storms? Because we're giving them names now all the time. That's why we're having so many storms, because we're now actually identifying one windy day over another windy day. Whereas 10 years ago we just used to, oh, it's a bit blowy out there, I've just seen my bin fly past. So yeah, change your world. And change your world by managing your energies. Yeah, and bringing that balance back in. Yay! Well done. Thank you, everybody. That was lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at home. Thank you, Marion, for that lovely comment. Brilliant. All right, darling? That's right. Yeah, nice to be here. Good. And you. Yeah. Please don't be a stranger.